Hi friends, are you ready for our weekly Lenormand reading? Today is Saturday, January 25th, and it's also laundry day, so I'm sorry if you hear that in the background. But the first card out is what Spirit would like to speak with us today, okay? First card out is the cross. I feel like that was last week too. It was. That's, karmic in nature. It can be fated, which the clover, right as I said, fate, the clover came out, so that's confirmation. It can also be like a spiritual protection card, but it's ultimately, what's meant to be and the things that you must do. Okay. Now, next to the cross is the fox. The fox, that can be a career card, but it can also be, using your intelligence. Okay. Let your past help your future feel to it. Okay. In your career, in your day-to-day activities, even, like wise counsel feel. Underneath that is the lilies. I'm picking up on these energies that are surrounding it as I'm talking. So I feel like it would be an expert in the field. It could also be like a pastor, because we've got the cross and the fox that kind of gives off that feel too. And then the upper left hand corner is the letter, so it's kind of, a message is coming through. So pay attention to any signs and symbols and synchronicities. They might be a message there for you as well. Okay. The heart, that's love. That's your passion, that's your joy. But more than that, it's kindness, it's empathies, it's Christ consciousness energy. So that's loving unconditionally. It's agape love. Those are the energies that this portrait is expressing here. And the birds are there, so that's more communication. So it's your words. Your words are, well, spells. I mean, I don't like to use that word because it has such a negative connotation to it. But your words are your affirmations. You can bring forth into your reality, into creation by speaking it, right? So, you can be inspiring, but you can also, do the opposite with words. So be mindful of that. Like if you're writing a letter, I don't know how you, sign your name, but I always say have a great day, or much love, or something that's going to give it a little bit more oomph when you're trying to communicate. I feel like some things get lost in translation, especially with texts, and I like to use my emoji so that you can at least feel some sort of an emotion attached to the words. Okay. The tree is there. The tree is also karmic in nature, and it's your ancestors, your family. It has that longevity feel to it. And then there's the key, which that's a green light. That's because it's next to the tree. Trees are green. It's also solutions will be found. It can have that feeling of to try to maybe seek counsel to come up with a solution. Okay. So that's just the first portrait, but I feel like that first portrait has a lot to do with the overall general, theme of the whole reading. So, but what was surrounding the cross. Now the next card out was the gentleman. So that's the masculine energy. And then there's the coffin is in the center, which is, it's a rest. It's a resting kind of a card. It's transformational, especially beneath that is the snake. But it could be that we are going, we need to kind of go inside and maybe, like try to figure out what are the things that kind of trigger us. Okay. Because if something is triggering you, that means that there's something within you that needs to be addressed and healed. Okay. I know that's, a lot of times we don't want to hear that, if we are in a disagreement with someone, we always want to express our viewpoints. But if the other person is upsetting us, it's generally because there is something within that has triggered an internal either trauma response or something that frustrates you, then you have to ask yourself, okay, why did that frustrate me? What needs to be looked at and what needs to be addressed here? Or what is the underlying root of the issue? Somebody might be saying one thing and really, they're just hangry. They're hungry, but there is the child in the mix too. So that would be an ending and then a new beginning. So it's kind of like clear out the old to make way for the new feel, fresh slate feel. It also has a past childhood feel to it as well. I'm thinking of Hope Chest here. But then the crossroads are there, so that has that old dirt road feel to it, and but things are opening up, right? And so the crossroads symbolize to me different timelines, different portals, different choices. They all kind of can send you down a different path in all of our, our all of the choices that we have made in our life. It comes to a culmination of where we are right now, right? So even our past traumas, those shape us, for who we are now, and they make us stronger, right? So even if there is some sort of a drama or trauma or situation, what can be learned from that? Not what is it, why is this happening to me, but why is this happening for me? And then, try to transmute that into something valuable and what's the other word I'm looking for here? Like don't throw the baby out with the bathwater feel, but you want to turn a bad situation into a better situation, okay? Or at least don't make matters worse, okay? Now there's the Cavalier there. The Cavalier is also a messenger card, so there's some things that maybe are not brought to light yet, because that's next to the coffin. And the whip is in the upper left-hand corner, which that can be very challenging. It can be very, like maybe somebody that is annoying you to the degree of frustration, okay? Because the snake and the child is there. And I just feel like, sometimes, people will act out because they want attention. Right, Roxy? It kind of indicates that too. All right, so the next card out are the flowers. That's recovery. It can be an invitation. It can be, things are what's the word I'm looking for here? Things are becoming more abundant. And flowers, they're very fragrant, and they are, colorful. There are a lot of those aspects as well. The upper left-hand corner is the scythe, and the scythe has that reaping aspect to it. And sometimes, cutting things out to promote growth. That's indicated here, and next to the tower, which is a time of the past as well, but it's also a leveling up card. So maybe, look at things from a higher perspective, take the higher road. And the reason I'm saying higher road is because underneath that tower was the road. And then, the mountain is also there. So that indicates like a new chapter. Okay. The moon too. The moon is a new phase even. And the stars, that is healing energy. That's wish fulfillment. And the fish are there, and that's abundance. And a ring is there. So that's, collaborations and relationships and, all of those aspects. So, from all bad, there is some good. That's that yin and yang. Even in the darkness, there is a bright light. And in the lightness, there is a dark spot. So, you can't please everyone all the time. And, I feel like as long as you're not doing any intentional harm, I feel like it's all just meant to teach us lessons, right? But if you're being nasty, shame on you. All right, the next card out was the bear. That's that mother nurturer energy. but it's important and it's significant. And it's next to the dog, so we've got the junior senior feel to it, but we also have the mother child feel to it. Okay, in the center is the sun. That's that radiance. That's that bright spot. That's the, you know, that's you know, it's what shines light on the whole world. You know, so try not to let anything diminish your shine. Okay. You know, the stork is next to that, which is transformational also in its nature, but it's progress, it's forward momentum. And then we have the ship, which is success. It's bringing things to a culmination of a successful outcome. Okay, so you know, sometimes we can't see things until we have that hindsight, which is same as true when some things go wrong. You're like, boy, I wish I could have, I wish I could know then what I know now, and might have done some things a little differently as well. The mice are there though. Those mice, you know, that can indicate a little bit of stress, and sometimes stress is good, but too much stress, you know, will create disease. So you know, protect your health, you know, and keep calm. You know, keep a calm resolve. Protect your peace. You know, that would be my greatest advice. You know, if you're having challenges or difficulties, try to get to a spot where you feel safe. You know, that's that peaceful, easy feeling. Okay. Now I'm just going to lay them out real fast. Let's see. That upper left-hand corner is the letter, which is the message, information, communication. And then the bottom left are the birds, which is more communication. And then we've got the ship. Okay, that ship, you could be going on a vacation, right? Book the trip. All right. I didn't have any matches when I laid them out. I like to look for those, but I also when I position them, I might have some that are close by. Oh, I already do the scythe. The scythe is that change card, and it can be swift, it can be sharp, it could actually mean on a, you know, be careful side. It can be accidents, it can be surgeries. So just be mindful of any you know, situations out there. Okay. All right. Let's see an overview here. I don't see any other. Oh, I do. I see the messenger is really coming through, because we've got the rider and the rider diagonal towards one another, and that's that messenger. And then we've got the birds and the letter, which is, you know, it can be written and verbal. Okay. And then we've got the heart there. So that's, you know, maybe spreading love, or communicating love. Okay. Boy, that's how I want to be remembered. All right. What else do I see? Anything else that's next or near to one another? No, I don't. I see higher perspective though. So, you know, or travel. And I've said this before, you know, that travel expands your mind and your consciousness. Okay. And vacationing is a chance to rest and recharge. The sun is there. So I would encourage that, even if it's, you know, just taking a day off here or there. But if you can get out of town and really relax and not have to worry about things while you're gone, that's truly the best sort of vacation, you know. Let's see, but getting proper rest can also do that, you know, because my coffin's in the center. That's why I'm saying that. Now, I see a second chance there. Well, it would mean more of a second chance if the coffin were before the clover, but it's in reverse. But I still feel like it's a blessed ending, but I do feel that there is a resurrection feel to this with the snake and then the flowers, and that's recovery. So I do feel a second chance, or at least a coming to a resolution, okay? Even if it's an agree to disagree feeling behind it. I do get a family vibration to this because the child and the gentleman and the tower, so it's a time of the past, and it's probably a sibling. And then I've got this feeling of uneasiness with the snake and the dog, but the dog is a friendly, loyal energy to it, and the snake can be a little bit more deceptive, but it can also be diplomatic and intelligent. So I feel like, you really have to look at the whole big picture here, and not jump to conclusions or cast down too much judgment. The tower is there as well. So, sometimes we can be a little harsh, especially towards the ones that love us the most, because we know that they love us unconditionally, and that, ultimately it wouldn't end the relationship. So that's kind of that feeling here, that it won't always be this way. Things will end up sorting and working its way out, but the communication is in order. And if there's not the communication, then this could all, just be an ending that it's a blessing in disguise feel. Okay. I do see a new chapter here, and the stork, which that is a classic turning of a page, and new chapter, new a new birth feel. So I feel like sometimes we tend to live in the past too much, so now it's telling us to look forward and towards the light and the future, because the sun is there too. So, and maybe go out and get out and see things that you've never seen before, a new take a different road somewhere, visit new cities, new travel destinations. I see memory here though. So memories of the past can also play a role. Like, if you wanted to go back and visit your childhood home, that sort of thing too is nice. And I kind of feel that is in this mix here. And it's something that, every once in a while I like to take a little drive down, my old dirt road my childhood home where I grew up, that nostalgic feel. Okay. What else do I see? I feel like there's a mystery though. It hasn't come to light quite yet, but it's going to be a surprise, and very pleasant surprise too, because the tree and the moon and the stars are there. So maybe looking forward to something is in order. And then we've got a little bit of turmoil going on, because the snake and the mice are in the mix here, and it's creating a delay and a challenge. So just patience, might be in order. Kind of sit back and let the universe work its magic feel. Let's see what else. I feel like there are some friendships that are of importance, or relationships that are of importance, and the people that you hold in high regard, those are your, steadfast, your tried and true, they're the ones that, you know, um, look out for everyone involved, and not themselves, right? Those are the type of people that, that withstand the test of time. Our childhood friends that, I have several, that I've known since I was a young girl, and they're my closest, dearest friends to this day. And, they bring such joy and, nostalgic feeling and wonderful memories. And, we've always been there for one another, through thick and thin. Those are the people that you should be surrounding yourself with, the friends that become your family. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed this week's reading. And if you would like a more personal reading, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to have a one-on-one with you. And until next week, you take very good care of yourself. Bye now.